There's no replacement for quality time and quantity time as your kids grow up. And when your kids are away from you 5 days a week, 7 hours a day for 13 plus years from kindergarten to graduation, you just can't get those hours back. As we're looking forward and preparing our young men for marriage, I want to give an encouragement to parents. I mentioned I've been praying for my daughter's spouses since before they were born. Davis did the same, prayed for them all growing up. Parents, don't wait. Start early with your kids. Think ahead. Think even generationally. Whether you have daughters or sons, men, please be talking to your kids. Be praying for them. Be praying for their spouses, and then be pouring into them this wisdom over the years so that when you get there, it's a joy and not a curse. And that's not to say that everything will be perfect, right? But it is to say that it will be different. If you've been laying that groundwork over the years, it will be different.
Well, and that's so true. There's no formula, as you're saying, but right. I think you hit upon one of the at least key principles, and that is start the conversations early so that when they're 18, you're not having the first conversation and it's natural and they're not intimidated or going, oh, Dad, I don't want to talk about that. It's just, hey, Dad, can I ask you some questions about this? We've already talked 100 times about this subject, but I got another question.
Amen.
And there's that relationship that's been built with your son or daughter to just continue the conversations now that they're, at the age where it matters.
Amen. Davis, as you're speaking to, you mentioned you've homeschooled all your kids all the way through. We've done the same with our girls, as reluctant as we were, and as reluctant as I know you and Rachel were as well. We've been with them the whole time through. And that's another encouragement I would give to parents is there's no replacement for quality time and quantity time as your kids grow up. And when your kids are away from you 5 days a week, 7 hours a day for 13 plus years from kindergarten to graduation, you just can't get those hours back. Davis, I know you've worked with organizations, not just Apologia, but also kind of national homeschool organizations. And you probably know the statistics that from the time our kids are in kindergarten until they graduate, on average, they'll spend an average of between 12,500 and 16,000 hours away from the home. And you can't walk by the way with them. You can't, when you sit down and when you lie down and when you go about your way, teach them about the ways of the Lord and prepare them for their future relationships if they're just away from you the whole time. This episode of Rapid Response was brought to you by CTC Math. Visit them at ctcmath.com today.